Hi, beautiful friends. I am Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls. And if we're meeting for the first time, I am an angelic practitioner and a spiritual teacher. You might know me from my Facebook page, Illuminating Souls. We have over 375,000 people who come to the page and receive inspiration. And I do this through creating inspirational posters. And you've probably seen these show up on your news feed in Facebook. You know, it'll be a beautiful picture or a piece of art that has a wonderful caption on it, something that'll inspire your heart. And so today I wanted to bring you this training on how you too can create inspirational posters or graphics that you can share on social media. Because if you're watching this, I imagine that you are an inspirer and a light bearer. And there are many of us who are here who want to help make the world a little bit brighter, even if it's just for 30 seconds in someone's day where they read a message that we've written or that we're sharing. So I want to help give you the tools so that you too can inspire others and bring more light into this world. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a training on how to use an online photo editor called PicMonkey, which you can use for free. And I'm going to be giving you some wonderful tips on how to get your stock photos, how not to make mistakes that might cost you thousands of dollars. And I'm really excited to share this with you. And you might be wondering what I'm doing. Somebody who talks to angels is teaching a class in creating graphics. Well, you know, in my corporate life, I used to and part of what I did is I trained people in the software that we had in our company. And so I just love teaching and I love empowering and helping you have the tools that you need so that you can shine brightly in the world. And I really believe we're living in a time where we just need more inspirers. So if you feel like you have a mission in your heart, if there's a message you want to share, I want to help you get that out into the world. And just so you know, this training is a preview of my upcoming 6-week class called Graphics Made Easy, where I'm going to be teaching you all about how you too can do your own graphic design. I'm a solo entrepreneur, and so as such, everything falls to me. I answer my phones, I answer my emails, and up until now I've done all my own graphic design. So I had to learn out of necessity. And when I first tried learning how to do graphic design, it was really overwhelming. I tried to teach myself Photoshop, and honestly, I do pretty well in self-learning in terms of computers and programs, but there was something about Photoshop that I found so difficult to navigate. There were layers and different kinds of tools that I had to use, and it didn't feel like it built on anything that I knew already. And so I wound up being very frustrated and near tears as I was trying to figure out how to make even the simplest poster. And then I wound up taking a class at the local community college, and things started to fall in place. And then a few years later, some wonderful online photo editors became available that really make it easy for people who don't know anything about using any of the design programs to really create beautiful artwork. And one of those is PicMonkey, and I'm so excited to get to share that with you. I want to start out our training by giving you a really important piece of guidance and advice. So it's a misperception out there that if you find an image on the web, you Google, let's say you're a yoga teacher and you Google the word yoga or lotus, and you find a beautiful image in Google image search, that you can download it and then use it on your website or on social media. And just so you know, all of this is protected by intellectual property rights and copyright. And if you do that, you leave yourself open to receive a pretty uncomfortable letter from one of the stock photo companies asking you for hundreds or thousands of dollars in damages. So when you're creating artwork for social media, you want to make sure that you're using photos that either you've taken, or maybe a family member and a dear friend has taken and they've given you permission to use. A photo that you've licensed, and there's some great stock photography sites where you can go and license images for under $1, or else you use an item that is available for free under what's known as Creative Commons. We'll get into more of that in the 6-week class, but for now, the piece of advice I really want you to take to heart is please do not reuse photos or artwork that you do not have permission to use. You'll save yourself a lot of heartache in the end if you follow that one rule. So what we're going to be doing next is I'm going to be screen sharing with you, and we're going to be making a poster together, and I'll show you where I got it and how I created it. So stay tuned. And just so you know, this training is perfect for those of you that might be technophobes. If you think there's no way I could learn how to do this, stay tuned, because I promise that you can make a gorgeous inspirational poster. And we're going to do that next. So I'm going to just screen share with you so you can see what I'm doing online here. All right, just making sure that's what you're seeing. Yes, you are. Okay, so this is my Facebook page. I have been so blessed to have great success in the world of Facebook. I have over 327,000 people who've liked my page. My page can reach anywhere between 200,000 to, this week it happens to be over 1 million people. And I do this by creating inspirational posters. So you've seen these show up on your newsfeed, I'm sure, from there's hundreds of inspirational pages out there, and you probably have your favorites. So these are some of the posters that I have designed. And I really, really enjoy this process. It's been a great outlet for my creativity. And I also just love connecting with inspiration and then sharing it with others. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be recreating a poster that I made a few days ago, and it's this one here. So this poster, I found this photo and I loved it, and I had this quote from something else I had written, and I really was guided to make a poster out of it. So the first thing you want to do when you are creating your artwork is you want to find a photo or piece of art that's meaningful to you. And as we already said, you want to find something that you have permission to use. One of my favorite free photo sites is called Unsplash. That's UNSPLASH. And they have gorgeous high-resolution photos. There's hundreds of them on here. And I just want to point something out to you. If you look up here, if you notice, it says free to do whatever you want, high-resolution photos. And there's a link here that you can read more about that. This is what you're looking for when you're looking for free online photos. Another great site is called Pexels. Pexels is kind of a clearinghouse. They aggregate the free photos from some of the other larger photo sites. And so you can come here and look for a photo that's meaningful to you. I picked a different sunrise or sunset photo, but for instance, if let's say you liked this photo, if you click on it, what it says here is it has a CC0 license. That stands for the Creative Commons license. And it says it's free for personal and commercial use, no attribution required. That's what you're looking for. So then you could go ahead and download the photo. Another thing, when you're looking for photos, you're going to be putting copy on it. So you're looking for a photo where the copy would have a place to go and would be readable. So for instance, this cat picture is gorgeous, but unless you put a text box on here or something, this would be a hard photo to put copy onto, just because the picture is so busy already. But you probably could do it, but I'm just saying, but then you look at a photo like this, and here's a perfect space where you could put your copy. So I picked the boat with the sunrise or sunset, whatever it was, and we're going to go ahead and make that, replicate that poster. So I'm coming over to PicMonkey, PICMONKEY, which is a wonderful online design portal and photo editor. PicMonkey has a great free service. So I would say probably about 70% of their features are available for free. They do offer an upgrade to a premium subscription. I think it runs somewhere around $40 a year. And if you do upgrade, it unlocks some more of their fonts and their effects. But if you're just getting started and you don't want to spend money on anything right now, the free version you absolutely can do a lot with. So this is a great place to start. To get started, we're going to hover over this edit button, and it's going to create this drop-down menu. I'm going to click on computer, and we're going to upload the photo. So this is the photo. I had already downloaded it to my computer a few days ago, and I'm going to click open. When I'm working on creating posters for Facebook or for Instagram, I prefer to use the square aspect ratio. I just think it looks really great in both platforms. And I make my graphics 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. That will make them large enough that they'll show up in good quality, whether somebody's on a big computer screen or on their smartphone. So to crop the photo, over here on the left is where you have your toolbar. The top element is where Basic Edits resides, and at the top of Basic Edits is the crop tool. So I'm clicking on this, and it creates this drop-down box. And then I can just sort of crop, you know, this is sort of free form. I can crop it however I want. But I happen to know that I want a square aspect ratio and 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. So I'm coming over here on the left to actual size, and I'm going to go ahead and put in my dimensions that I want. And I'm going to click Scale Photo. So that what that does is when I go ahead and resize the photo, it keeps the aspect ratio that I want. Originally, when I was making this poster, I was thinking I would put the copy down here on the right-hand side. When I got around to designing it, I didn't quite like the way it looked, and the copy, I wound up putting it on the lower third. But just to be consistent, we're going to crop the picture similarly to how I cropped it in the original. So once I have it where I want it, I come back over here to the left, and I'm going to click the green Apply button. Next, we want to drop in our copy. I'm just going to come over here to the original poster, and I'm going to copy the text. I'm just putting it into my clipboard. And we want to come down here to where we find the text tool on the left. I'm going to click on that. And this shows you all the different fonts that are available in PicMonkey. Wherever you see the crown, that's a premium font, so you will not be able to use that unless you upgrade. But as you can see, there are a lot of different fonts available here on PicMonkey that you can use for free. You also have the option to use fonts off of your computer. I tend not to do that with this particular interface because sometimes it just slows things down. And they also have great fonts that are already available here. The way we add our text is click the Add Text button up here on the left, and it's going to open up two different things. Here in the middle of the photo, we've got our text box. So if you click your cursor in here and start typing, you'll see that that's where the text is going. That's the default. And the default is black text in the Arial font. Now, this happens to be a rather large size, and I know that I have a lot of copy and I'm going to want to use a smaller font. So over here on the right is where we've got all of our text options, including the color picker, whether you want something bold or italics, and alignment, as well as size. So if I click here over on the right, this is where I set the font size. I'm going to bring this to 36. I think that's, I'm just intuiting, I think this will be a good place for us to start. And I'm going to copy in the text I brought over from my page. So just without doing anything, this is what I get. This is what it looks like. Now, I have some decisions to make here. One is, where am I going to place the text? So I'll show you why I decided not to put it on the sidebar. Let's try this differently. And you'll have these you can sort of pull on these bars here, and it'll resize things. I just thought that that was going to look pretty busy. So I made this decision to put this in the bottom third. And since it's on a dark background, I wanted to make it white. So here we have our color picker. Again, I'm on the right-hand side, and you can drag this around and make this any color you want. If you go to the very bottom of the scale here, that's black. And if you go to the very top, it's white. So I knew that I wanted to use white, so we're going to use white here. And then I wanted to do a center alignment. Now, next what we're going to do is we're going to pick the font. Now, fonts will give this a lot of personality. When you are creating your beautiful graphics, you're going to find that the personality of the quote and the poster is really going to be impacted by the fonts that you use. This font that we're using is called Arial. Now, Arial is what's known as a sans serif font. A sans serif font is a font that's very rounded. It doesn't have the hard lines that a serif font does. So just watch what happens. So this is Arial. And if I change over to Cardo, Cardo is what's known as a serif font. The serifs are sort of these hard edges, the lines, the tails that you see on each of the letters on the typography. So another example of a serif font would be Georgia or Times New Roman. And just watch how the personality changes. So this is Cardo, the serif font. And this is Geo Sans Light. This is a sans serif font. In addition, you have lots of other options. You have handwriting fonts like Amatic, and that will give something a very crafty, organic feel. You also have options like Roman Antique. I'm just changing the size of the font as I do this. And this makes it look really old world. It looks like a font you might see in an old manuscript or something. And then there's some really fun fonts, and there's some fonts that have a lot of personality but are also like calligraphy fonts. So something like Brush Trip Travis. Now this happens to be one of the premium fonts, so if you have the basic version you won't be able to use this one. But the reason I'm bringing this up is I want you to notice how busy this looks. It's really hard to read this copy, and if you saw this on social media, you probably would not stop and try to read it. So let's say I create this in Cardo, but I love the Brush Trip, I can't say that very fast, Brush Tip Travis font. I still could add it for a little bit of flavor. And let's say I just want to type a few words. This is about change. So you can see how the eye can read the two words because we're not giving it too much, we're not trying to do too much, but then the copy is something that's simpler to read. So when you come and make your posters, it's like have fun with it, and but kind of look and see what your personality is. You know what? I just want to show you one more font. For instance, this is called Emily's Candy. I see this used a lot on some of the inspirational posters, but notice how this has a really playful quality. So if you were trying to bring forward a subject matter that might feel a little bit more serious, this font might not be the best fit. It's not that it's a bad font or unkempt. This looks more playful. So the fonts really have a lot to do with your personality and your brand. And so I originally went with Cardo. I just happen to love this font. I don't know. I have a soft place in my heart for it. I just love the way that it looks. So I love this way this looks so far. I noticed that when I was creating it, though, I was concerned that the font still might be a little bit hard to read. So I added a drop shadow behind this. This again is a premium feature, but it's just over here on effects, and there the drop shadows there, and I think it makes it a little bit easier to read. Now we want to go ahead and add our branding. If you're going to be publishing these beautiful posters on social media, you want people to know who you are and where they can find you because they may be interested in following you or seeing more of what you've created. So we'll go ahead. I usually do this, whatever font you want to use. I'm going to use Geo Sans Light. I'm going to click Add Text. Again, I'm going to make the font size a little bit smaller and then just type in my name. If you don't have a website, you can just put the name of your Facebook page or your Instagram page and just, you know, that way people will still be able to find you. I'm going to drag this up here and make this white. Fantastic. The last thing we're going to do on this poster is I put this frame around it. If you notice this lovely little frame, and I'll show you how I did that. So underneath the butterfly, you have frames over here on the left-hand side. Click on that, and there's tons of options. You can put, this is called the simple edge. It makes it look like it's in a frame already. And where I got the craft scissors was down here. It says craft scissors, and I picked this border and hit apply. Now, sometimes for some reason, when you use the frames, you just want to, you may need to readjust where your text is. It somehow, for some reason, it just may put things off kilter. So this, I'm happy with this now. And the last thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and download it. So up at the top, you'll see the save button. If I click on this, I can call this change and then click save to my computer. Now I'm not going to do that because I already have it saved to my computer, but that's how it works. Last thing then, you're going to come over to social media and then upload your poster. On the off chance that maybe you're not sure how to do that, let me just show you quickly. You would click on photo video, upload photos, whichever photo that it is that you just created. I'm just waiting for my computer to cooperate with me. Here we go. This is the poster we made. Copy in the text, and you can hit publish, or this is, you may not know this, maybe you already do, but if you don't, you're going to love this feature. You also can schedule this to share later. So let's say you make a series of 10 posters and you don't want to share them all at once. Right under this little caret here next to publish, if you click on that, there's a schedule option, which you may not have known about, and if you didn't, that's a cool tip. And you can decide what date you want to set it on and what time. So maybe I want to set this for 2:00 p.m. today, and then I would just hit schedule. So you have lots of options when it comes to using your posters. And I really want to encourage you to do this. Really, I believe there's tremendous beauty in you, and you have a message to share. And it's such a blessing. We don't know when we make these posters who they're here to inspire. And it may just be one person, or maybe it's going to be hundreds of thousands. You don't know, but your job is to let this message be born. So in closing, if you're enjoying this training, if you're excited and you're inspired, I want to share with you about the upcoming 6-week class, Graphics Made Easy. I created this class because when I was mentoring other practitioners who had their own businesses, one of the things they wanted to learn was how to make posters for Facebook, how to create graphics for their blog. So, when you learn graphic design, you can use it for a lot of things. Maybe you want to make posters for your kids' soccer team or do some digital scrapbooking. And this class is really going to help you learn some basics. You're going to be learning a minimum of 3 programs. We're going to be doing even more teaching within PicMonkey. I'm going to be teaching you another wonderful online graphic design program called Canva. And I'm also going to be teaching you some basics about Photoshop. Now, Photoshop is a really powerful program, and it could take months to learn it all. So I'm going to be teaching you a subset of its functions that will help you make inspirational posters and basic graphics for social media and for your website. I'm also going to be sharing with you lots of resources, so great places you can go to find your stock photos and other graphic design elements. And I'm also going to be sharing with you some of my favorite apps that I use on my iPhone. Some of them are also available if you have a smartphone that's Droid-based, that you can use for graphic design. So if you're sitting waiting for somebody at Starbucks, you can make a poster on your phone and then upload it. So you're going to be learning a lot in this upcoming 6-week class. You can come over to my site, Illuminating Souls, and learn more. And I would love to support you in shining your light in the world. So thank you for letting me spend this time with you today. If you do make some posters, I'd love to see them. And just know that I'm really cheering you on. You have a beautiful, beautiful light to share in this world, and you're needed. So thank you, beloved friends. I am so grateful for our time together, and have a blessed and wonderful day.